Everyone, welcome to Jamlish, Real Talk with a little bit of Labrish. Here we are again, audience. Here we are again with another hot topic, and it's come from you lot, not us, but Uno give me the topic for talk about, so we don't want you no complaints. Yes. So let me introduce you to the panelists. Hi, panelists.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. This is RT. Welcome to Jamlish. Let's enjoy the show and let's get lively and let's talk real talk business. Yes.
With a little bit of Labrish.
Labrish. I always forget that part.
Pamela, hi, how you doing?
Hey. Welcome to the show. Kick back, sit back and relax. And
all right,
enjoy.
I must learn to sit back. Me always I go in the screen, like say, we can grab Uno. Simeon.
Let me take off my speaker knuckles and see what I go on. Welcome back to a brand new chat. Glad to see you come back. Remember, if you like the vibe, make sure you subscribe.
That's right. Yes. And welcome. We have yet another guest getting involved with the debate. We've got Alison. Hi, Alison. How you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Big Alison up, man. Come on, man. Big her up.
No, I'm bossy speaker, Mish. No, I'm bossy speaker.
Big up.
Hi, how you doing, people? All good here?
Yes.
Very excited to be here and listen and discuss everything.
Yes, fantastic. Great stuff. Alison, tell me something about yourself. What are your interests?
I'm a stay-at-home mom, which has its challenges.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah. I got a couple of grandkids as well, so they're part of my life.
Grandkids? You don't look old enough to be grandmother. Stop your eyes.
Yes. Yeah, eight years left to retire, man. 8 years left now.
Oh,
so.
wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The title of the topic is, does being independent work at an advantage or disadvantage in a relationship? So, RT, what do you think? Does being independent work at an advantage or disadvantage in a relationship?
Well, I did a bit of research on this. We always try and make sure we know what we're talking about and give our own advice anyway. But really, what I found out looking at this, I think this is a real good quote, what I found. It says here, successful, healthy relationships allow for both people to form a bond which lets them grow independently as people. It's essential to have your own sense of autonomy while feeling that you can depend on each other. So you've got to have your own space, but also work together on obviously issues and trying to grow together as a relationship. So you can be independent, but you can use it as a strength within your relationship to make it work. And that's what I think. You don't want to be in that person's shadow, You've got to, you're not duplicating that person, wearing the same clothes, things like that. They tell you to wear, you should be wearing this, blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with that. You've got to have your own sense of style and maintain that sense of style. So yeah, I think you can be independent in a relationship, definitely.
I like that. And that's one dimension. Pamela, what do you think? Do you think that being independent is important in a relationship?
I think there are advantages and there can be disadvantages in the sense where it's recognizing independence and not being self-centered, because some people can be self-centered and clothe it in independence. So,
well, I can differentiate the two.
I want things my way. I want it my way. I'm used to being like this. I'm going to stay like this, and that's part of my independence.
That sounds like me, like 20 years ago.
Independence is, sorry.
That sounds like me 25 years ago.
Probably quite a few of us 25 years ago. Actually, I think if we're honest, it could be a few of us 25 years ago. Where we wanted to be seen as, quoting independence. I'm independent. I have my own mind, but not really willing to compromise or respect the other person's independence.
Sounds
And
like
that's
controlling,
where
Pamela.
it
Sounds
comes
like they've been controlling. Yeah, sounds like they've been
Yeah.
controlling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree
Mm.
with that because as a single parent,
Yeah,
I was a single parent for 6-7 years,
yeah,
and I had to be independent. I had to do things my way. I could only do things my way because that's all. I couldn't refer for anyone to, you know, say, well, what do you think about that? You could ask friend, but the decision is yours. So you are an independent person. Great. But obviously, as when I met my husband, and
yeah.
over the 10 years, I've had to, you know, sort of step back a bit and go, well,
Adjust.
actually, yeah,
It's called
somebody
adjustment.
I can, yeah, I can ask
Yeah.
somebody if
Yeah.
they think this is the right path. You know what I mean? So it is difficult when you've been doing all that independence on your own, and then
Yeah.
somebody
And
else
then
comes
walk
in
into a
and you're like,
relationship.
oh, hang
Yeah.
on a minute.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So
Absolutely,
that,
Simeon.
What's the question again, man?
Right, it is a long question. So, does being independent work? Does it work at an advantage or disadvantage in a relationship?
I think it's important.
Work good or does it work bad in a relationship?
I think it's important to maintain some independence in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you see, before you went into that relationship, you had a
were
dream.
you were
You
your
had a
own
goal.
person.
You see, when
Yeah.
you go into that relationship, you're supposed to can maintain that dream, continue that goal. And you see, if that person loves you, then they shall help you to, you know, fulfill your dream, your goal.
Yeah.
And so forth. When you go into a relationship too, you have to respect them dream, them goal.
But
But
some
you see,
people
if you,
go in a relationship. Sorry,
go on.
I cut you off. I was
no,
going
it's
to say
just,
some.
at the independence, me really may try. You know what I mean? You,
Mm.
it's that define us. That define us. That give us something to strive for. You know, a dream, a goal. You can't take with that less. Well, you're not being yourself. You got a problem.
Yeah, I was going to say some people go into a relationship with that independence, but then the partner might be quite strong in wanting to coerce or control the relationship and their independence and take away the independence from them.
You can't have that.
Are you aware of that, or is that?
Then it goes in a different direction, Mish. You know me full of story. One at a time, right? One quick one. One at a time. Missing my baby mother, she was fixing a plug, you know, she had work on some. And when I catch her, I go, whoa, call it male chauvinist, but that's my job. You know what I mean? I'll do that, no problem. I'm gonna say, why are you doing that? And she said she wants to be self-sufficient. Which is different from independence to me.
But the thing,
Come say self-sufficient. To me, self-sufficient means sufficient for self.
If there's somebody in the household can do it, why am I stressing myself out to do it? But if I've started off, I'll just give you a little example. I started off living on my own, and then was living with someone. So when it came to those things, plugs, this, that, I weren't interested in that. But then when I ended up living on my own again, you have to learn them skills, whether you like it or not, change tire. And it's or if you got brothers or other people, you do.
No, it's good to know, of course.
Pamela,
no, I never learned those things, even being by myself. I had no interest. I still have no interest. My husband is constantly trying to show me where the oil goes in the car and the water, and I stand there and I'm like, but I've got no interest. And if I can't do it and I'm by myself, I will find someone who can do it. Preferably
I totally agree with you, Pamela. I totally agree with you there. Yeah.
Right. So if the plug, if you need a plug or you need fuse to go in the plug, and there's nobody around, and you have to change the plug, you wouldn't do it.
No, I've got neighbours. I'll find somebody.
No.
You call the neighbour. You call a neighbour before trying.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a children, then can learn what we said in school, go to school for. Then can learn to do something and help me, any.
Right, yeah. And the thing is, I literally had no choice. I never had no choice in the matter. Unless like one of my brothers, like if pipe bursts or whatever, but
Yeah.
General things in the house, like emptying the bins, for example. You know, that's a man's job. But if the bin not empty, right, rat and rodent to go run in my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are things that you have to do. You have.
Yeah.
It's not about being independent. It's about you just have to do it. You got no choice in the matter.
When you got no
What
choice in the matter, Mish.
Yeah.
When you got no choice in the matter, you have to do it. But
Yeah.
to be honest, any woman there with me, certain things she don't have to do, I will do it. I will be taking out the bin, I will be changing that.
I love that. I
You
love
know?
that. That's music to my ears. I
No,
love
Yeah.
that.
so me
Richard,
see
what
it.
is he gonna say?
Yeah, no, I agree with Simeon there. Sometimes there's jobs that you'd expect a man to do, and there's some
Yes.
jobs that a woman you'd expect to do. But then
Yes.
if you want to build on a relationship, for example, you learn new skills. You know, I never used to paint before. I watched my missus paint, and now I can do a bit of painting around the house. So we're both helping each other and
Oh,
What
developing.
a man job that.
No
Painting.
man, yeah, but you never
No,
learned.
you watch your missus
paint.
paint.
No,
You
what I'm
watch
embarrassed
this
of.
real
I
talk
don't-
with a little bit of Labrish.
I can sit my
RT,
juice.
that's terrible.
No.
Washing the paint.
Yes.
No, man.
In the
That's
case I
wrong.
said,
I said, I
That's
think we're living in a world now where you have to learn and evolve. Yeah, you have to learn and evolve. No?
What you
Is
what is when you
Not a
say you
thing.
watch your wife do it,
That
you
is not
watch
a
her
thing.
paint.
We have to give this
Well,
other
well,
one
Yeah,
now.
there's definite roles, I believe, in the home and outside the home, obviously, you know, with the cars and things that men should do and women should do as well. I mean, would I cut the lawn? I have cut the lawn,
Yeah.
but
Banana
What?
choice. Me happy cut it.
I wasn't. I have cut it though.
What about washing a car, Alison?
I have. I haven't washed it, but I had actually done what those bar things, you know, when they've got little marks on a white car.
Oh, the teacup, yeah.
Yeah, and it took me about 4 hours to do that. So I have done something on a car, but I would never do it again.
Okay.
No, about filling it with fuel and that's it. That's it. And
You see
Ubering
the
it.
car thing. The car thing, I take issue with the car thing because I know back in the days when I used to take my car to the garage because nobody else could fix it and I had no choice, right? They see you coming. There's certain things that people see you coming, right? As a woman, and they don't see no man behind you, right? They take advantage. So you know what I started to do? I started to bring a man. If I needed to take my car to the garage for whatever, I would bring a man with me and then I'd be charged fairly. You know what I mean? So, and that's being independent without choice. You get me?
Yeah.
And so what I started to do is start buying cars that don't break down. You know what I mean? No, seriously. I made a conscious decision to buy cars that every 2 years so that I don't have to go to anyone.
I have a lease
You know
car.
what I mean?
I'll have a lease car, I do.
We've established, right, that being independent, well, we don't know yet whether it works at an advantage or disadvantage, right? Let's unpick this. What about let's look at the disadvantages of being independent we're talking in a relationship now, right? So what do you think the disadvantages are in a relationship? Let me ask Pamela. Can you think of any disadvantages?
The disadvantages of being independent. Sometimes, I guess, if you're used to doing things independently and all of a sudden you've got to start thinking about considering somebody else, that can be challenging. But I really don't see that there can be any disadvantages because I think it actually adds to the relationship if both partners have independent values, independent interests, independent ideas. I think bringing them together can only enhance the relationship because you've got two different mixtures of different things that can only enhance it, you know.
Well, you see
sometimes dependent on each other. I think that can be a problem.
Okay.
Same time, I say argument against that because you put the ideal together. If both go into it with independency, sure, things shall work perfectly. But you see, if one is not used to that independency and one is used to the independency, you see, when that one who is independent likes to go out to the Saturday night with the girls, say, and the other one is not used to, you know, what time you're coming back? Them start, you know,
but that's why I said
funny sense.
That's
No,
why I said
that's what I'm saying. You say the ideal.
Yeah.
But that's the ideal when one of them not used to it. You know what I mean? Independence. Because independence, what does independence really mean? It means you can go out on the Saturday night. It means you can, you know, I'm going to the dinner with the lads, you know, you can go to drinks with the girls, and both of you should feel no way.
Yeah, that's healthy. Isn't that healthy?
That's healthy. Yeah. I think if one's dependent and one's independent, I don't see how that's going to work.
Not going to work.
I don't see how that can work.
You
can't rely on somebody. You got to have your own space. Like you say, get a hobby, being able to have your own friends, but still have, you know, have social friends as well. But you might have your own friends that you can go out with and socialize, as Simeon says, you know, things like that. So,
and you know, so it's good to have different friends.
Yeah.
All your friends are not supposed to be the same, you know? Trust me.
Oh, no, I don't.
That's not
good.
No,
I'm
that's
known
not
for Michelle, who has all the weird friends, because I have an eclectic group of friends, and I'm you know, she's got weird friends, you know, because I do have different friends.
You're supposed to, man. That's LT. Different experiences coming together, man.
As well.
Yeah, you have different friends for different things sometimes as well. Like some people like to just go for a coffee. I've got 2 male friends that in a relationship, and I go for coffee with them. I'd never go out for a drink with them. It just wouldn't be, you know, my sort of thing. But then I've got my girlfriends who I can come here, go out, you know, no problem. That independence, but you have to have. You couldn't have the same friends. That'd be wrong. That'd be weird.
Well, people do, you know.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people
from
do.
school right through, you know what I mean? And then they won't step outside of that.
No. I moved 50 miles away from my home, everything I knew. So I had to go out and make friends. I couldn't rely. How could I be friends with my husband's friends? It wouldn't be it wouldn't be right just to go out with them. I had to find my own friends.
That's the other thing as well. If you move to a different city or a different, you know what I mean? You know, or if you're used to being around people, or you're a sociable person and that, that independency work at a good advantage.
Oh,
you know?
The thing is, I will say that a lot of the friends that I had in England, they repeatedly come here. But I also have a very strong group of friends here for different, like Alison said, I have friends for coffee, friends that I go clubbing with, friends that I go for drinks with, friends that I go for walks with, friends, you know, for different things. And if I didn't have that sense of independence, I'd have been completely crushed here, because I didn't even know how to say hello when I arrived. So for the first 6 months, I just people watched, looked at the natives, watch how they behave with certain things, and fall in line, so to speak. And then little by little, built up my own friends. Within the 6 months, I was like, I had a strong friendship group, and that's because of my independence.
But you know something, to Mish, off his sleepy because I noticed the talk is more on the independent side.
I think that in terms of the bad side of being independent, can be, you know, you can actually be in conflict within your relationship. You know, one partner could feel threatened at the fact that you are like that.
I think that could come down to financial well-being, whereby you know, you're not sharing anything in terms of your wealth or any money that you've got in your.
I think it got deep. With our due respect, Richie got deeper than finance.
But it's one part of it, I think.
It's just a section. It goes deeper. Even they going out, as I said earlier, going out, what you used to and them not used to.
And controlling somebody as well, I think.
No, but you see, I don't see that as independence. I think if somebody is completely independent, they are totally comfortable with who they are and what they themselves can bring to the table. Doesn't matter what the other person has or doesn't have. it really doesn't matter, because you're an independent person and you know what you're able to achieve, what you can do within yourself. I don't think it's, you know, if somebody's feeling intimidated by a partner who's, say, earning more than them, they're not independent. They're not.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, really. There's the problem. This lies the problem.
When you have somebody that's not independent, okay.
Then can accept that you're independent and want to do these things.
And
you're supposed to be in a relationship. They're supposed to be understanding of you, you know, wanting to make you happy, trusting you.
I've spoken to guys over the years, you know, and I've asked them, well, what do you want? What do you want in a woman, you know, in the case of relationship? And the first thing they will say, they want a strong woman, you know, a woman that
What kind of man you talk to me?
You know, do this for yourself.
When them get out, them don't know what to do with that.
What to do? Thank you. What a strong woman, you know, that can, you know, can think for herself and can do things and that, and want the queen to do this and that. And then, you know, you go on a date, right? And you're sitting there and you engage, you try to engage in conversation, right? And then you realize, you know, and I'm not being discriminative or anything, but you realize that, you know, this ain't connecting, you know, my thoughts and the way I think and feel is very different to this other person, but they still want this strong, you know what I mean? And then they become inferior, you know what I mean? It can work either way, man or woman, you know, but don't say you want a strong person to do this, that, the other. And then when, as you says, when you do get that person, you know, you can't work with it. So do you think is being independent, is it a bad thing? Because it sounds like it's a bad thing. It sounds like it can be a bad thing. It sounds like it can be a hindrance in a relationship. I guess if they allow it, if the two people or the one person allow that to happen.
It depends on them, Mish. Basically, it depends on them.
And also,
Because
what do we
it can
constitute as being independent?
Everyone is independent, used to the, as I said already, one is used to the independency and one is not used to it, and then somehow got together. You know,
what do we constitute as being independent? When somebody's independent, what do we, what things?
You're being yourself. You're being yourself.
Don't involve your partner in any decision making, for example. You do everything yourself. You don't involve them in any maybe financial arrangements. So
I don't agree with that.
No, that's not.
I won't go that far. That's why I'm below you for talk.
I think, you know, like you say, having your own mind, making decisions to a certain extent, as long as you're involving the other person and making them aware, like Simeon said, communication. Making know who you are. Don't let anybody change you as such, telling you to wear certain clothes, do certain things. I expect you to do this or that. So no, you gotta have an independent mind yourself, I think. So don't let anyone control you. That's what I think.
Well, for me, independence is being able to pursue, achieve, and maintain the same things, whether you're by yourself or with somebody else, and being secure in your independence of self enough to allow your partner to do the same. Do you know what I mean? It's like being independent means that whether your partner is there or not does not determine whether you're going to achieve your goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean doing it at the expense of your partner and at the expense of everybody else's feelings. It just means that you can do that whether with or without your partner's support.
But you still require the support though, because
it's nice to have it. It is nice to have it, and you appreciate it. Yeah. But whether it's there or not, you're going to achieve it. And as long as it's not at the expense of their feelings, you're just confident and capable within yourself of achieving these things independently.
Alison, do you agree with that? Your face, you was a bit like, I'm not sure about that. What are your views?
I agree to a certain extent, but what if your life changes as such? You both are two entities, you're not married, but you're together as a relationship.
And you both got your own minds.
You live in one house and that person lives in another house, but you are in a relationship.
Right.
and you know, you're quite happy to be together for a long time, you know, nothing's going to change, but obviously maybe something changes financially for one person, then
Yeah.
his or her independence could be elevated. Do you know what I mean? And think,
Yeah,
well,
because
actually,
greater financial security is a
Yeah.
massive part of being
So-
independent, allows you to be independent.
to be
I
a bit
should say.
more independent.
Yeah.
So as in a relationship, I don't know whether that would change, the dimension would change a bit of the, because that person has got sort of an elevated,
Or feel a way that they're financially secured and
secure. Yeah, even though you're both in a relationship doesn't mean that you're married. It doesn't mean, it means that you both, you know, are committed to each other as such, but it doesn't actually mean you're married. So you could have two different spaces and have a
in that-
relationship.
yeah. In that
If
case,
you're
you've got to have open communication then, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're
communication's got to be
if
open.
you're committed, then
Yeah,
the finances, one person suddenly earning less or one
Yeah.
person earning more,
It shouldn't
shouldn't
matter.
make a difference to the relationship because you're together. So you're going to be doing things together. You're going to be achieving things together. It
you've
shouldn't
got
make
two different bank accounts though, haven't you? Do you know what I mean?
But then, well,
They could
You'd
just
hope
go
so,
on.
Pat, you'd
that's
hope
not
so,
a
you'd hope so, but
relationship then, is it? If it's is that a committed relationship if you're both living in different houses, you've both got independent bank accounts? No, you're just seeing each other. It's not a committed relationship, because a committed relationship is two people living and going forward together as a unit.
Pamela,
Yeah?
I
But
know
you're
people who live like that separately and
they
they're in a
committed too.
relationship.
Yeah.
We have
and they
people who
committed.
they've been with their partners for 10, 20
And they
years.
committed, innit,
They don't
Mish?
live under the same roof. But
But would
They're
it
committed.
make a difference if one of them was earning less, or do you notice? Do they
they're
notice?
both, well, they've both got their independence, obviously. They've both got their money and that. They still manage as a couple
Yeah.
to make the relationship
The
work,
relationship
Yeah.
work.
even if they're not under the
Exactly.
same
So the
roof.
difference in finances, it doesn't make a difference to the relationship.
It don't
does it?
matter.
Don't it?
Ah,
Let me see.
what I said.
Let me give you a couple of examples. Let me get off the internet. You don't lose sight of your dreams if you're independent.
as Simeon said
That's
before,
one thing for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if I got a dream, I will continue with the dream, whether the
Yeah.
man is there or not.
as
You
Simeon
don't lose
Important.
sight of things like that.
Exactly.
You are your own person at the end of the day, aren't you?
You said that you were saying about the men listing. So probably the follow-up to that was going to be, so what me can do for you? And then it goes back to what Simeon was saying, where it runs deeper, because we all still need that intimacy.
But we still need
The
love.
one thing you can't do, an independent person can't do, yeah, they can like satisfy
They can love themselves.
sometimes, but yeah, they can help themselves, but they can't provide that intimacy that you can only get
Well,
with another
exactly.
person. So
But I've had people say,
yeah,
well, what can somebody do for you? Or can somebody help you? Eh?
intimacy.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a human being. You pitch me,
Yeah.
bleed. You know, I need love. You know,
But
Yeah.
even but,
and I
but
want
Mish,
it.
but Mish, even that discussion,
Mm,
you don't have to be, you know, bedroom talk. Even that discussion with somebody,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Even that
Yeah.
is something too. That company,
yeah,
somebody to
Yeah.
share your problems with. That is something
exactly.
too.
And even your achievements, somebody to share
Ah,
that. You know, imagine
man,
you
pat
have your
you on the
dream
back.
and you achieve your dream. What good is
Build
it if
you
you got
What
nobody
is
there
it?
to
Yeah,
share it with?
exactly.
You know?
build you up,
You got
build you up,
Facebook.
help you. Build you up.
You
Yeah,
got
without them
Facebook,
taking the
put it on that.
PISS though. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, you share your dream or
You get
whatever.
lots
But
of
you know
loves,
what? My
lots of
bank account
likes.
is mine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the 500 friends on social media. We're talking about that one person, the level of
Yeah.
intimacy
Oh,
that we all
absolutely.
deep down
Yeah,
Real,
like to have.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And
absolutely.
apparently, much more peace in the relationship, right, is a part of being independent. So basically it's saying don't nag each other. Yeah.
We didn't know about that because sometimes
It's not my research, it's somebody else. And also you got more to contribute, yeah, to someone else
Yeah, on a daily basis, you have different experiences. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, you know, an audience, we need to look at this word independence. Yeah, because a famous singer called Beyonce sang a song about independent woman. Yeah, and I never agreed with that song. As much as being the party,
Yeah,
It's all
all the
good, yeah.
women, all the single women,
all the
raising
women,
their hand.
and if you
When
sing
really,
to them,
then she
and
turns
put
around
a
and
ring
puts,
on it and all that,
he likes
you
it,
know,
then he
bull
would have
crap.
put a ring on it. That just slapped all the independent women back into the corner.
Yeah.
Back into the corner.
You know?
Yeah.
Definitely
because
use
it's
the wrong way.
saying that-
Definitely use the wrong way. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely use the wrong way.
So Richard, if your wife now says, right, I'm going away for the weekend, right, I'll be back Monday morning, how would you feel about that?
I don't have a problem with that. That's all part of being independent. She's doing her own thing. I'd allow her to do her own thing, you know. And that's all part of life. She's learning and experiencing things like that. I've gone away at the weekend. I keep in contact, let her know what I'm doing, etc. That's all part of life and being independent.
But brother Rich, suppose she says, by the way, Johnny and Jimmy's coming too. You know, some girls are coming.
That's a different story. I'll make sure I know who she's going with first. Yeah, but no.
Yeah, it depends if it's for Johnny and Jimmy.
Jimmy, you know, the two J's.
No, that's
Alison,
what I've got down here, to be fair. You know, take a relationship break. Drive yourself. I mean, sometimes I just go for a little drive for myself. Just drive the car, go for a little drive.
do you feel you have a degree of independence then?
Oh,
Because you're
absolutely.
at home and that's irrespective to that, is it? Do you feel you have a degree of independence? So if you said to your husband, right, you look after the kids, right, I'm going on holiday with the girls for a week, how would that manifest itself?
I'd probably have to book it in advance for quite a while.
Yeah, but I mean
would
in
have to
terms
be-
of his reaction towards that.
Oh, no, we just go, all right, whose birthday is it? Or, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
No.
One of the, suppose Johnny and Jimmy was going there too.
Johnny and Jimmy, you would already know in our friendship group, so it's not like they're randoms, is it?
A personal, like what worked for me with regards
Yeah.
to being independent with relationships wise. Sometimes when you're independent, when you, like Alison says, when you're making the decisions by yourself for a long time as a single person or as a single parent, sometimes you know, it can be difficult to then be in a relationship and learn how to still be independent but with somebody else. But then you then start to compromise, you get used to that. And if that relationship comes to an end, as it did, I'm speaking from personal experience, what I found was that I was going back into my independent ways, and I was starting to think more independently and not looking on the positives of being in a relationship. So it was very important to me that all of a sudden couples were placed around me, good, healthy couples. And I think don't lose sight of the good things about being in a relationship are. Surround yourself, have your independence, go out with your independent and single friends, but also keep people who are in healthy relationships around you. I think that helps for you to then be in another relationship and not just totally think of yourself.
It is an adjustment, because when I was in a very long-term relationship, and when I actually was single, living on my own, and then moved in with someone, you know, and it took a couple of years for me to adjust, because I was a single parent, and then suddenly I became, you know, a wife, and you know, with children, and then I had another, and my life totally changed, and it took a few years. It took a while to adjust to that, because when you're used to your own company and, and there was arguments and all sorts, but eventually we got there.
No, you know what them say? A habit is a habit, and everywhere you go, you have it. So you say when you're used to your own little ways to change that habit,
you have to come out of it. You can't, you know. But as Pamela says, I totally agree, Pamela. Don't lose sight of who you are. You know what I mean? You know,
you
and
have
you
to
do,
be
you
yourself.
know, if you surround yourself with positive people, encouraging people, and people who mean you're good and not bad, you know, you can move around.
And the dreams, as I said, Mish, that you have set. You know, maintain your focus. If you meet a person, them not supposed to distract you from your focus.
No,
they're supposed to work with your focus.
And at that point, I'm ever so sorry, guys. I know we can go for another hour or two, but we're going to have to wrap it up. That was an interesting debate, and we welcome your comments. Let's hear what other people got to say about being independent, because it's not all about, you know, Beyonce and this and that, you know. It's deeper than just about having your own money, and you know, there's a lot of other things that encompass being independent. So thank you very much, audience.
Thank you for inviting
Thank you
me.
for watching us. Don't forget to subscribe to us and them comments and like.
Thank you,
Alison,
Alison.
it's been wonderful having you.
Thank you very much for having
Nice to
me.
have you, man.
Thank you.
Did you
Thanks,
enjoy the
Alison.
show?
Yeah, fantastic. Loved it.
So just tell us what you think about Jamlish, real talk with a little bit of
Likkle bit of
Labrish.
Labrish.
I love it. I love watching it. It's
Yeah.
just a part of like my community, like on the telly, if you know what I mean. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So we're going to sign out now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, everyone. It was good to have you. And remember, Jamlish no hard to find, you know.
Yes. Artie.
Welcome to the world. I usually say that at the start, but I'll say that at the end. Viewers, please continue to watch us, like and subscribe. There's plenty more shows coming up. We're just warming up.
You know, I like that. We're warming up. Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Simeon.
Yeah, man. Nice to see you come back. And I expect to see you come back on the next chat. If you like the vibe, make sure you subscribe.
That's right. Make sure you subscribe. And yours truly, Real Talk with a little bit of Labrish.
Israeli Valentine representing for Jamlish.
See you all
Real
again
talk
soon.
with a little bit of Labrish.
Bye-bye.
It's always love.
Jamlish, a little real talk with a little bit of Labrish. Jamlish, them talk real talk, them not talk no foolishness. Jamlish, a little Jamaican wrap up in the English. Jamlish, the real talk show with a little bit of Labrish. Skibble says so.